Hello everyone, Alistair Gold here. It's the international break. It's great fun, isn't it? But we'll get through it. We will. And we have the promise of a North London derby at the end of it, so that'll be fun. They're always great fun at the Emirates, aren't they? Sean Slater asks, do you believe Conte has a kind of Fergie effect at the club as he can run it in his way instead of just like a normal head coach? I have a feeling this could be the club he puts down roots and enjoys building something that will be his way to success instead of inheriting success like in the past for him. We'll see. He's definitely a dominant character behind the scenes. Of course he is. He's a very demanding man, and that's because he wants the very best. Obviously, we've seen all the Juventus links again this week. Conte's going to get linked here and there and everywhere. He will not slap down those links. Of course he won't. He wants to keep the pressure on Tottenham and what they do. The Juventus links are fascinating because, from what I understand, I think Pavel Nedved has always been desperate to have him back at Juventus. But I think there was a massive falling out with Agnelli, the president-owner chap, because I think it goes all the way back to, when was it, 2013, 14, when Conte walked out on them a day into pre-season. Because he wasn't happy with, that was the infamous little while back talking about going into a €100 restaurant with €10 in his pocket or something like that. Often you'll find that, Chelsea aside, often Conte leaves because financially the club aren't backing him. That was a very, that didn't end well, their relationship then. And I think it kind of rumbled on a while. I remember there was something last season about, how do I put this in a polite way? Conte making a gesture towards the stands where Agnelli was, or that was what they reckoned he was, and then the Juventus hierarchy man, that's a weird one. Juventus, I don't know if it's a CEO, president in Italy. They kind of hold about 1 million different titles sometimes. Apparently he, swore back at him. This is all just Italian reports. I don't know whether it was the case or not. I didn't watch the game. I've seen the footage of what looks like Conte, how should we say, raising his middle finger in the direction of Agnelli. I don't think Agnelli would be in a rush to bring him back on a personal level. And ultimately, Conte's got a contract to the end of the season, whatever. There is also that option, which appears to be an option if both sides agree to extend. I don't know. Some people are suggesting, is it one that Conte's got? Some saying, is it one the club got? I feel like, from the bits and pieces I've heard, it's a mutual thing. No 100% confirmation on that, but I think that's the case. It's both sides. It's Daniel Levy. Juventus aren't going to come in, I don't think, and be able to just offer, just take Conte away if that were to be the case, if suddenly Agnelli just decided to put all past grievances aside. I think Tottenham, it all still is in their court. If they show that they're backing Conte, and Conte feels that he can win stuff, Conte will look to stay. It's exactly what happened last summer, as well as the absence of, I guess, suitable jobs for him to go into. But I do think that'll be, in Spurs' lane, really. They've just got to keep on progressing. And Conte has made it clear that this is a multi-transfer window thing. In January as well, that I think, let's be honest, Brian Hill is likely to head off in January on loan. They can't keep him there just not playing. It's just daft. It's kind of a depreciation of their own asset as well if he's not playing. So you'd imagine just by naturally him going out, you have to bring in someone. And then maybe you look at one or two. So I think they keep improving, and next summer the same again. It's just Conte believing that he can win. Although I do find it interesting that, you've got Poch and Tuchel out there right now. Two very good managers, especially Pochettino knows Spurs inside out. Tuchel's got obviously a very good CV as well. I'm intrigued to see what happens if it does kick off with Conte at any point, because I think Conte would have to make things very, how do I put it? He'd have to really, really, really kick off, I think, for Spurs to even think it would be more or less trouble just to let him go. because he's an amazing coach. You know, he's one of the best in the world. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. I would say the Juventus stuff will probably rumble in the background like PSG did until, let's say, Juventus get someone else. I can't see Conte leaving mid-season anyway. And then, you know, this extra year extension, I was told that when that happens, Spurs will announce that it will be a big thing. They will make a thing out of it. And who knows, you know, maybe they look to do a bigger contract. I don't know. He's brought Champions League back. Again, I'm not saying that's something I know is going to happen. Just wondering to myself whether... Look, I asked Conte about his contract out in Israel. Yeah, it was Israel. And he's just very blunt. He was just like, I don't really care about contracts. It's like, without being, I guess he was trying to say, without being that guy, he's earned a lot of money. So the money side of it for him personally is not such a big deal. He said almost it's more of a burden for the club because he is a well-paid coach. So he's not that fussed about kind of long-term contracts and things like that. But I just wonder with Spurs whether they might get to a point where they just think, let's kind of lock him down. Again, he's got to agree to it. But in terms of financial commitment and a big payoff, if it all went wrong, I don't know. I think it makes sense myself. But yeah, like I say, Juventus stuff will rumble on because obviously Allegri, it's not going his way right now. And I'm sure the Italian media will constantly link Conte with a return to Juventus because it makes sense, I guess, apart from that, problems in the past with the Juventus hierarchy and Agnelli in particular. The Premier League's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, he's said this enough times. To win the Premier League, I mean, you look at it now and you look at Man City and how good they were, and then they've shoved Haaland up front. And it's just, you can see how difficult it is to kind of overtake them and win that league. And, you know, you look at Liverpool maybe not having the same season as they did last year. I mean, even with City, I guess you could look at, was it Villa and West Ham have held them to draws. So it's possible, but it's so difficult, I think, to win the Premier League now, to break that stranglehold of probably City and Liverpool to a degree, maybe not so much this year. We'll see. They may turn it all around. If I'm Conte, I'm looking at that and thinking maybe second and third are up for grabs this season if we can continue this kind of direction we're in. But I guess for Conte, it's not really enough. He wants the then, the after, something tangible. But then it'd be down to him, I guess, to win cup competitions, especially in Europe. You know, it's not really his forte. So, yeah, let's see. Sorry, that was a very long answer to a question about essentially Conte and whether he's a bit like Fergie effect. But yes, in essence, yes. I think he will have a bigger impact on Tottenham. Although I would say Poch really changed a lot of what Spurs were about. So he had a very big impact on the club. I think with Conte, you do have Paratici. So Paratici is going to have a big impact as well.